Okay, hey everybody, this is Grace. I'm going to read the AI overview of what does it mean to be condescending. I left out a word there. What does it mean to be condescending? I left it out. To be condescending someone? Okay, that does not sound right. Anyway, to be condescending towards, there's the word, someone means to act as if you're superior to them. I'm acting as if I'm superior to the AI. Oh boy, this is going to be a blooper. But that's what it says. What does it mean to be condescending someone? Anyway, to be condescending towards someone means to act as if you are superior to them, often with a patronizing or haughty attitude. I still want to pronounce that as haughty. But anyway, this implies you think that they are less intelligent or capable than you. Does this sound familiar? It involves talking down to them, making them feel less than you, and showing a lack of respect. Here's a more detailed breakdown. Superiority. Condescending behavior stems from a belief that you are better or more knowledgeable than the other person. Patronizing tone. This often involves speaking to someone in a way that's meant to be helpful, but is actually insulting. The tone can sound like it's directed at a child, making the other person feel devalued. That makes me think of infantilization. So the part of it it's directed toward a child. Implied criticism. Condescending language often is subtle, or it overtly criticizes the other person's intelligence or abilities, implying that they are not up to par. Lack of respect is a way of making someone feel less than you and inherently show a lack of respect. You know, I was going to mess up a lot after that beginning of this, huh? Okay, but I did a little deeper dive. It says that is condescending the same as belittling. While they're both involved demeaning someone, they differ in their underlying tone and intent. Condescending behavior suggests a patronizing attitude, implying the person is better than the other. Belittling, on the other hand, directly attacks a person's self-worth and often in a more aggressive way. The tone thing, I don't know if that's what it means. I don't know. Okay, I listened over a little bit of a blooper in the first part of it, but yeah, I want to talk about this, about somebody being so condescending toward anybody, their audience. When somebody is doing that toward their audience, like making a video, and I've been talking about this, well, actually, I started talking about people like, back then they were called E-Beggars, or, they do it online, in video, begging for money, but they don't put it out that way. It's well, in a way, yeah, in a way not. They don't say that word. But these days they call them, I think, grifters, con artists, and charlatans along this line. They get money, whatever, from their audience, and they're condescending toward them. They act as though they are superior to their audience. At some point, they start acting that way. And, that's kind of biting the hand that feeds you, because these are people who give you money, not you, but give that person that you would apply to. So, the grifter. Okay, let's just say grifter now. But they're condescending toward their audience, and it's not necessarily the subscribers or followers, whatever it's going to be called, but and they use, sometimes I have heard this tone, and now it's not just applied to the way they talk to their and they speak to their audience. But I know it because I worked in medical when I was in my career student days. I did worked in medical, doing things like surgery scheduling, billing, interim office management, and I've seen it since I was a child. Heard it, seen it since then. How some people in medical act superior to the patients, to anybody, like out in the community. And my voice, and I'm telling you, you might hear this in my voice, because the more, I'm one of those people that the more I talk about certain people I knew in accent, I change my accent or my behavior. The way I speak changes. Me and one of my sisters, we live here north of Dallas, but we didn't grow up in this area. We grew up in a different part of Texas, and it has a different accent, different attitude all around. And we were both working in medical at the time. And when we'd speak to one another, or we worked together, sometimes we'd run across one another. And we would laugh because we'd have that office. It's practically culture to speak a certain way. But then the longer that we were speaking to one another, and while we were there working, it would go back to our old ways in our old hometown. Our language, the way we spoke, the words we used, the terminology, anything would switch. And that happens to me when I talk about people who do that to this day. It's kind of like a mixture of Valley Girl now these days. Valley Girl and what now this is about what the grifter thinks it is. Like a Valley Girl, royalty. And sometimes they'll switch it if they've done something wrong and their audience called them on the carpet about it, or just put them down, just got real upset, whatever. Their audience got, like that's wrong. They'll do this thing of acting real sweet. They won't use that voice so much. They have a difficulty because they're used to it. But they'll have this really sweet and gentle and kind voice. And then suddenly it changes to their, they're superior to you, superior to everybody voice. And it's like they're looking down their nose at the people. And this is actually part of, you can look up narcissistic personality disorder. And you'll see somewhere in there, I would be guessing, like look up the AI overview. And, or look it up in the DSM. But you probably, anywhere you look online or whatever, maybe you would see that one thing is that how they, some of them see themselves as at a level or in a class or in a whatever it is, some kind of, they belong to a certain type of people. They can only be understood and only be accepted, and they only should be around. I keep saying these people who are at the level they think they should be. They're very entitled. They really do believe they're superior, and they're entitled to be where they think that they will be. And there's nothing that they're showing that they're doing to be in that. It's just that they believe that. Like if they're begging for money from people, and then they act as though they're financially in a class well above what they are. Okay, maybe the people give them enough money to where they think that they're in that class and financially there. But what are they personally doing to deserve it? And I wanted to say something else. The people they're condescending toward, it could be because when you really think about it, I have been seeing these for like I said, 10, 11 years. And I make, my original channel will be 11 years old in August. And I have made videos about this. Usually I go through a spell. I'll call it a spell. Usually once a year, because it's like 'tis the season for this type to start showing up. And I've seen more than one doing this right now, doing a lot of these things. It's like it's scripted. And yeah. Okay. where was I? But yeah, they do very similar things as though it's scripted. Where was I? I know I was saying that. But overall, that voice will be there, and I've seen it, like I said, in so many people. They do so many of the same kind of things, including this of getting to where they believe they're superior to the audience, the ones that are even, donating money, and they see themselves as superior. Well, what they don't think, and I have seen this, I have really started to see this more often, is that the people who do that, the people, even if they're giving a couple dollars, do you think that that's free? Well, in a way, yeah, it is. They're giving you free money. I wonder how many are paying taxes on it. Depends on how you get it, right? I don't know. I'm not a tax person. Yeah, Adam does my taxes. But I don't know. But would you really think that this is free from that person, in that person's minds, mindset or mind, that they're, say if somebody donates $200, something like this, do you, I'm saying you as in that person it applied to, the grifter, think that that's free? No, they may be, subconsciously, unconsciously, they're even unaware that what they're expecting something from that grifter. They're expecting that grifter to play, to say, to be the role that they expect him to be. And if not, they're going to jump on him, verbally, and tell him off. Because they expect him that $200 they gave, there's something that had to be returned, you see. And you have a whole lot of people, they own you. They own the grifter in so many ways. And I think the grifter gets tired of that. Oh, they thought they were going to have all this money and it was going to be great. But here are all these people demanding stuff from them. I'm not talking something monetary, something monetary, but it's for like I just said, for them to behave a certain way, them to talk about certain things, them to have a certain attitude, the grifter, to E-Beggar, them to follow and fall in line with what they believe. Wow, when you got a lot of people, even the ones giving, some of them make a big deal about, oh, don't give me $2, I'm worth more than that. Some people, that's all they have. And that's what makes me sad, is I feel empathy for the ones who are getting used. Anyway, they're going to have that tone and that attitude, that condescending attitude. And you'll act all superior than thou, and use that voice, the whole accent and attitude all around, that they believe shows that they're superior. So, anyway, I just wanted to add all that to there. I think I'll wrap it up. I think that's enough. I've done videos on this before and recently. So, anyway, wrapping up. Talk to you on another video. Bye. Oh, I did want to add something to this. That is when, like I said, so much of this is scripted. I've seen it in so many. And right now there's more than one that's doing the same kind of thing that I've seen recently. I've seen so many different ones over years. But one of the things I want to mention is that they, at some point, they actually will tell their audience why they're superior. Like I was talking about, why they see themselves in that other group. Now they're not going to say, I'm superior to you, my audience. That's not how it's going to be. But I did mention that they let their audience know in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And sometimes it can be very, very direct. Okay? But just not that direct. Just not, oh, I'm better than you. And instead, it may be something like, they're saying that in a way, it's a twisted way of looking at fake it till you make it. It's just a twisted way. That in order to be that, they have to be around that. They have to surround themselves. And that these are people who, well, they're entitled, so the people, you know, who are like that had better accept them because they're up there. You know? You see what I'm saying? When they're really actually not. I think I left that out when I was in that one part. Yeah, I was a little distracted. Anyway, I'll talk to y'all in another video.